So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video, another Q&A where we take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like rating if you want to. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. But without further ado, let's get into this. Here we go. So the first question of the day from Bullet DC says, why is Richtofen's name on some of the books in Nuketown 2025? Also, keep up the good work, so thank you for that. But yes, and this has been going on for quite a while now. Of course, we've had a few different iterations of Nuketown. We had the original in Black Ops 1. It was then brought back in BO2. We then saw a new version in BO3, and we've just recently had a Russian-themed version of it in Black Ops 4. So there are 4 different versions of Nuketown, and as you say in the comment, in the map itself on Nuketown 2025, you can also find this on the original. I'm not sure if it's in BO3 and BO4, I haven't checked, but there is a book that says Edward Richtofen on it. Now this isn't the only Easter egg relating to zombies in Nuketown. We also know there was Nuketown zombies, with Martin being locked in the bunker and us being able to hear the transit bus. It was near a Division 9 research station. On the multiplayer version, there are mailboxes outside of both houses that say Woods and Mason. There's also the Easter egg where the mannequins turn into zombies. But getting back to your question, why is a book with Richtofen's name in Nuketown? Now, I believe this is Richtofen's diary. We know that in the zombie storyline, Richtofen lost it and so travelled to Shinonuma to recover it. This looks to be Richtofen's diary from the Rising Sun facility. Why is it in a multiplayer map though? Well, I believe this is just an Easter egg. It is a reference. Richtofen wasn't actually here in Nuketown, we know that. Zombies doesn't have any storyline connection to multiplayer. There are many references in different zombies maps. For example, in Black Ops 3, in certain maps we could find the Primus statues, Dr. Monty's candy bars and stuff like that. There are loads of little zombies Easter eggs in multiplayer maps, but they don't mean anything. It's just a reference to that game mode, and the same goes for this. Richtofen's diary can be found in Nuketown as an Easter egg. There's no meaning, but it is cool. The next question from Lily says, hey BOA, I have a question. If Transit was remastered, how do you think the map will look like? In one of your previous videos, you said Treyarch had a different design for it. Do you think they will make Transit how it was supposed to be in the first place, or do you think it will be something different? So I can't specifically remember what I said. I don't even know which video it was to go back and take a look. But I do remember one of the Treyarch employees coming out. It might have been Jason Blundell actually, even though he wasn't as close to it at that time, but he did say something along the lines of Transit isn't really what Treyarch expected. It didn't come out, or it wasn't finished how they really wanted it to. Why that was, I can't remember again. I believe it might have been down to the restrictions of the old hardware from the Xbox 360 and PS3. You really couldn't push out too much, as we know. The space was very limited compared to what it is now, and Transit was a big map. But we do know that Treyarch were disappointed with how Transit came out. It wasn't what they wanted, and as we could tell by the community reaction, it's not really what we wanted either. Let's face it, it's not a good map. Of course, some people like it, but generally, a lot of people don't rate it, including me. There are a ton of problems like the fog, the denizens. I can see what they were going for, and I do like the whole bus system. But as you say, if it was to come back as a remaster, how do I think it will look? Well, I actually think the idea of Transit was really cool. It's never been done again. I think Treyarch were kind of put off with how bad Transit was, and so didn't want to try something similar. The whole idea of having a large map and then having a transport system take us to each and every area is something that hasn't been done again. Yes, you could say we have the gondola system or the elevators, something like that, but they're nothing like the transit bus. Would I like this map to come back as a remaster, let's say in Zombies Chronicles 2? Because there's not really too many more maps that they could bring back. We had a lot of them in Chronicles 1, so if we're getting a Zombies Chronicles 2 for BO4, surely Transit has got to be one of those remasters. And yes, I'd love to see it given another shot. I think now with the massive graphical upgrade from the 360 and PS3 to the PS4 and Xbox One, and also remember that Transit was on Black Ops 2. The graphical difference between BO2 and BO4 is massive, whereas the difference between BO3 and BO4, there isn't really much of a change, but Black Ops 2 definitely had a big graphical downgrade compared to BO4, and so just imagine how good transit would look. I also think the old graphics didn't help transit, especially because of the fog. I really just think, even if they didn't change anything, the graphical difference alone would make transit 10 times more better. The visibility, which was a big problem, would be cleared up a lot. I do think maybe they should give you an option to at least reduce the fog, or they should do something about the denizens, because having them come on your face, that sounds really weird. Having them attack you every 2 seconds whilst you're running through the fog is very annoying, and maybe they could improve a few steps on the Easter egg. Getting the Avogadro to spawn and killing him under the pylon could be very annoying and random. Oh, and I forgot the lava. Maybe try and do something about that. Make it so it's not so annoying when you get touched by it on your screen, or change the positioning a little bit. But other than that, I actually would love to see transit, and it would be the top of my list for maps in Zombies Chronicles 2. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about that one down in the comment section below. The Meme Lord says that I'm not sure if this question is a meme, but you say, hey BOA, why don't all of the survivors of the zombie apocalypse just move to a different planet, not dimension? I don't really know how our characters can move to different planets. I mean, this is not the Avengers or some space action film. The only other planet apart from Earth that is habitable is Moon, and that's only a little portion of it where Griffin Station is built. I mean, the characters just can't move to a different planet. Yeah, that's why. Toy Warrior says, and this kind of links into the past question, but you say, hey BOA, will we get a Zombies Chronicles 2 and what maps would we get? So I definitely think we will be getting one. We know we are having a season 2 of Zombies, so as to when it's going to be coming, I'm not really too sure. Zombies Chronicles 1 came a few months after BO3 was finished, but since it seems like we might be getting season 2 for BO4, it will be carrying on through the next COD game. Like I said, that's not 100% confirmed. It could be for BO5 or whatever. I'm not sure on the date of when we will get it, but I definitely think it will be coming. As for what maps, well, I would have to say all of the ones that we haven't had, like Buried, as I said earlier, Transit, maybe Call of the Dead. It has a celebrity cast, so I'm not really too sure on that. And then I'd also think they'd bring back BO3 maps as well, so Shadows of Evil, Dryzen, Gorod, Revelations. They haven't really got too many maps left that they haven't remastered, so possibly they'll also bring back ones that we had in Zombies Chronicles 1 as well. But yeah, if I had to guess, I would think the maps that we didn't have for ZC1, and maybe a few that we did. The next question says, are they the sisters of Medusa that we see beheaded in Ancient Evil? So yes, if you go on to do the Easter egg in Ancient Evil, partway through, and you can only see this if you attempt to do the Easter egg. If not, then this isn't visible. As you can see right here, this area of the wall, it just looks plain, but if you do the Easter egg, there is a crack in it, and behind this wall, there are 2 women that have been beheaded. And how do we know these are Medusa's sisters? Well, Perseus, during your battle with him, tells us that he captured Medusa's sisters. Their names were, and I might pronounce these incorrectly, but they were Stethano and Euryale, and all 3 of them were Gorgons. But it was only Medusa that could turn people into stone by looking into her eyes. However, Perseus, in actual Greek mythology, killed all 3 of the sisters, and we find 2 of them, Stethano and Euryale, beheaded under the city. I actually find this map so interesting. I love Greek mythology, and the fact that they've done it really quite well in this map, and also with Ancient Evil actually being really fun, it's just very intriguing. Randall Salazar says, hey BOA, do you think the new COD Mobile game will play a role for the Zombies storyline? Simple answer, I don't 100% know. However, looking from past mobile games for Call of Duty, they don't have an effect on the story. They don't really contain Easter eggs anyway. It's usually just a plain version of the map. Maybe there's a Easter egg here and there. We know that on Shino Numa for the mobile, there was a one-off Easter egg where you could find Peter McCain's grave. That wasn't on the console versions. But generally, the mobile games don't have any effect on the actual COD storyline, so I simply have to say no. And the final question of today says, hey BOA, if the Ray Gun Mark II was first seen and buried, which is in the year 2030, how come it is in Origins as well? Please answer. Well, of course, these weapons come from the mystery box, or sometimes on the wall. These are given to us by Dr. Monty. The mystery box contains a variety of different weapons from different years, whether it's the 1940s or the 60s, 2025, 2030, 2050. The mystery box contains many weapons that are not from the specific year that that map is set. Why? Well, it's because Dr. Monty gives us these weapons, and he's able to transport the mystery box forward forward or back in time to whichever date or location our characters are going to. It doesn't matter which year the weapons were built, it has no relevance. Buried takes place in 2030, whereas the Ray Gun Mark II was made in the 40s. The date of weapons compared to the date of maps has no relevance, it's just Dr. Monty, he's able to transport futuristic or past weapons forward or back in time. So there we go, that is it for today's video guys. Hopefully as always you have enjoyed. If you have, a like rating would be much appreciated of course. If you want to, if not, it's totally fine. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.